NBC Sports, home of the Olympic Games, the NHL, Notre Dame football, the Premier League, and Primetime's #1 show, Sunday Night Football, only on NBC.
Tua looking, fires, touchdown. Jones keeps it, he runs left to the 20, 10-5, and he's in for the touchdown.
Jackson trying to do it himself. That's a man right there, boy.
Hobbs at three. Swift fighting his way in. Here he comes. Touchdown, Nick Chubb. Towards the front pylon and touchdown.
Rodgers takes to the right pylon of the end zone.
Brady throws it to his left. Caught ball. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Front 10 through Foxborough. Weather's going to be a factor on this November night. A couple of former MVPs set to square off on Sunday Night Football. New era in New England. Cam and the Patriots in danger of missing the playoffs for the first time in over a decade. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in much better shape. Still, they've got plenty of questions of their own as Baltimore visits New England coming up here on Sunday Night Football. And as always, we set the table with Football Night in America. Glad to have you in what's been a busy Sunday so far. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Chris Sims, and Mike Florio. Rodney Harrison a bit under the weather. Rods, we're thinking of you. Hopefully you get back into our lineup here next week. So, guys, Miami just won, so we've got a half dozen games done. Very busy late schedule.
Very.
So we're going to be cooking here in a couple hours. But I want to go back to what you've seen so far. Tony, anything stand out for you?
Yeah, to me, there's a news flash, Mike. Tom Brady is not dead. Last week, only 3 points. What happened? Well, they got back to Ronald Jones in the running game. 46 points, 544 yards. The Bucs are back.
They're back, Coach. How about Daniel Jones? Last time he played the Eagles, they blew a 21-10 lead. He tripped on the 10-yard line. Everybody made fun of him. Well, he got the last laugh this time. Touchdown Giants, and they get the big win in the NFC East.
Nick Chubb is back for the Browns today after 6 weeks due to a knee injury. It was 3rd and 3 with about a minute left, and Baker Mayfield told him, if you get loose, do not score. And he told me how hard it was to not take the ball across. Oh, there he goes.
Mike, I want to throw some love to the kickers. Much maligned, always picked on. Matt Prater had a 59-yard game winner for the Lions. It's one of 10 50-plus yard kicks in the league. That's a record.
It's amazing.
Send some love to the kickers and the
Good
wins
for
out
you.
there, too.
Yeah, they deserve a little love every now and then.
Today.
Absolutely. And a great one in our game, too, obviously, with the Ravens. And back to this game. What a difference a year makes, guys, especially when you really look at the Patriots on the field. I want to show you this. Last season, they were 8-0 going into Sunday Night Football against Baltimore. They lost that one, started a run. That things turned around. They lost 5 in a row. We started to see the problems they had. They lost the playoff game, of course, to the Titans. Well, the rest is recent history. And Tom Brady, amongst those many offseason departures. Then you had several Patriot players who opted out because of COVID-19 for the season. Then in September, Mohamed Sanu was cut. Yeah, Julian Edelman on IR. Let's add it all up. Since that Ravens-Pats game last year, New England's 7-10, and only 9 starters from that night are on the active roster. So a lot of new faces in a very familiar Sunday Night Football place, which is Foxborough. And speaking of familiar faces, Liam McHugh, Chris Collinsworth. Hey, Liam.
Hey, Mike. Just a couple guys doing their jobs in a place where do your job is the rallying cry. We heard from Tony. Told us Tom Brady's not dead. Mike told us he's not here. Cam Newton's the quarterback. The team's 3-5. What's the problem as you see it? Can they make a push?
You know, I think they can, and they're changing philosophies here a little bit. They're having Cam Newton now be a lot more conservative. No turnovers from him last week for the first time all season. We saw a lot of these quick check down kind of throws. Let's keep possession. Let's play great defense on the other side. Every once in a while, they'd roll him out of the pocket, make use of his mobility. Just keep it under control. Don't turn it over. And then occasionally they go for a shot play or somebody would break a tackle like Demir Bird here on this one. It was really one of the biggest plays of the game. So that's going to be the approach tonight by the Patriots.
You know Cam's going to be a marked man. He's going to be in the spotlight as we watch him warm up right there. Outside of Cam, give me one guy for the Patriots we need to keep an eye on.
I would say J.C. Jackson. You know, Stephon Gilmore is not here, the reigning defensive player of the year. So J.C. Jackson is that guy we saw in the game last week. Gave up a couple of big touchdowns, also had a huge interception to turn the whole thing around. So if he plays big tonight, Patriots definitely be right in it.
Passing game's going to be interesting. Mike mentioned it. Weather is going to be a factor. We're expecting rain. We're expecting wind. We're expecting a lot of them. So we get the news, the sports, the weather. You giving the traffic after this?
None.
None. All right.
My cause is a Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, helping, type 1 diabetics. Obviously, the main goal is to turn type 1 into type none and find a cure. I've been working with them for a long, long time. I was diagnosed at the age of 9. So at an early age, I was doing walks to find a cure and stuff like that. So it's a great foundation. And it's something that, I love.
Well, I'm here for you.
Mark Andrews has said people have told him he won't be able to do this or that because he's a type 1 diabetic. He has proved them wrong. He's an inspiration to many, and that includes my very tough 3-year-old niece, Fiona, who was diagnosed in the spring. You can catch my full conversation with Andrews on NBCSports.com. He's a big-time receiving threat, but he's a guy who can definitely throw a block out there, and you have to in this offense. There's no doubt about it. Because when you have people like this coming through, blocked immediately. On cue. He can take it. As for this Baltimore Ravens ground game, they tore it up last year against the Pats. It's a running attack. It is not a boring running attack.
No, it's exciting. It really is. And I think it all starts with power football. You've got some big backs back there that can really deliver a blow. And then what do you do with this thing? Watch as the tight end comes across here. The unblocked guy on this play, is he going to get blocked? Is he going to run up for a pass? And then does Gus Edwards have it? Does Lamar Jackson get it? What does that guy do? The unblocked guy is always the key guy. And he can never be right. If Lamar Jackson's on his game, whatever he does is wrong. And what happens is these defensive players have their head on a swivel. They're not sure where the ball is going. And if you're hesitating as a linebacker trying to figure out where the ball is and Lamar gets on the edge, you're never catching that guy. So that's really sort of the basis of this offense. And especially as we're going to get some of this wind and rain and craziness tonight, it's going to be a running game.
All right, they led the league in rushing last year. They lead it again this year. But offensively, the numbers are down across the board for Baltimore. Earlier this week, Lamar Jackson said opposing defenses, they've been calling out his plays. What do you make of that?
Not much. I mean, guys like Tony Dungy, they were calling out plays back when we played. You call them out, you take a shot, you give it a shot, and then sometimes you're right. That's all it is.
Once in a while.
Once in a while you get one right. Maybe Tony got a few more right.
Occasionally, they get it right.
You didn't call any plays, did you?
We did call out plays, but you're just guessing for the most part, and then you're guessing on this Baltimore offense because even if you know the play, you don't know where it's going.
It or where it's going, right.
You're surprised Lamar said that this week.
I was a little surprised. Yeah, I mean, I know the offense isn't hitting on all cylinders, but certainly still been effective. And it's not something I think you want to air out publicly, I guess is what I would say.
So this is a week, guys, when if the Patriots were the Patriots that we've come to know for the last decade plus, you'd expect to see a blueprint of how to stop Lamar Jackson and something the rest of the league would be watching real closely for the rest of the season. Do the Patriots have that mystique about them anymore that they can give you a way to stop these elite offenses?
I think the mystique is gone. You used to go into Foxborough, we've got to do something special. We've got to ramp up our game. I think the Ravens know, hey, we just got to go in there and play. But here is one thing I would be worried about. When you play the Patriots, you can throw out the last 4 or 5 games. You don't know what you're going to see. And so what is Bill Belichick going to dial up trying to stop this Ravens offense?
I mean, I agree that with you, Coach, and I think you, Mike, as well, that the mystique is not there anymore. Certainly not. I don't think there's anything opponents are playing the Patriots right now fearful of. And the thing that Coach brings up there at the end about, the roster, the inability, we don't know what they're going to do to us this week. That flexibility is gone. The versatility. We already mentioned all the players they've lost on their roster. It's not the same team. Bill's greatness has always been about, this week we have to play this way. And then next week it's a different team and we'll use a different set of personnel. But they're a little stuck right now and they're not able to do that. And we've seen them get overpowered.
All those veteran defensive players you talked about that opted out, that gives you, that takes away a lot of your flexibility. Hey, we'll play 3-4 this week. We'll be 4-3 this week.
Right. 3 down, 5 line. They don't have that. And I would worry tonight, Mike, specifically like the 49ers game we saw a few weeks ago against the New England Patriots. They don't have big people in New England. They're going to be physically overmatched by one of the biggest offensive lines in all of football, let alone you got to keep track of this number 8 guy running around everywhere too.
And then you'd always have Dante Hightower to clean that up.
Exactly.
And he's not there to do that. Sounds like everybody's leaning towards picking the Ravens.
No, we better be careful.
I don't want to get trolled by New England.
Stay tuned for that. More on that later. Jacoby Myers did come up big when it looked like, oh my gosh, the Patriots are going to lose to the Jets. 12 receptions, 169 yards. They beat the Jets. We'll see if Myers, the second-year receiver, can continue it tonight against the Ravens. These fans ready to settle in with you and watch Sunday Night Football.
With the spin, the sprint, and the score. Shimmy shake, touchdown Ravens.
I watch Cam's Barber. You know, he the OG with Superman.
Superman flies. That's a man right there, boy.
Woo. Oh my goodness, the legend just goes on. Do the Superman. Did you miss me?
That was big.
Good hearing Lamar's perspective, because I'm sure some of the inspiration for what he has become is because of what Cam did early on. We'll see if he can pick up where we saw him on Sunday Night Football earlier in the season. Here are Michael Holley and Michael Smith of Brother from Another, one of our shows streaming weekdays on Peacock, to talk about the opposite quarterback in tonight's game.
Brother Michael, since you dress for church and whatnot, riddle me this. Do the Patriots have a prayer of stopping Lamar Jackson tonight? You know he had his way with him last year.
Hey, listen, the great thing about prayer, Mike, is that everybody's got access to it. But tonight, I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to stop Lamar Jackson. There's been a lot of conversation about him this week, which I don't quite understand. Don't worry about Lamar Jackson. He's 23 years old, and in his first full season as a starter, he won an MVP. But more than that, what I like about MVPs is that they usually come from good teams and good organizations. And I know we feel the same way about the Ravens. They do it better than most when it comes to drafting and developing talent.
And look, they need more talent around him, specifically at the skill position. The offensive line has been decimated. But I want to go back to what he said on Rich Eisen's show earlier this week, when he said that people are calling out our plays. Yeah, I like to think so, because as we've come to know, and as the old saying goes, they get paid too. I hope they're calling out your plays. They shouldn't be getting them right, and that's a Greg Roman thing. So the league has adjusted to what they're doing. It's on the Ravens to adjust back and put him in position to succeed. Listen, can he be more accurate? Absolutely. But when you look at his numbers this year, yeah, he's down in terms of completion percentage, 12 touchdowns and 4 picks. That ain't bad. I mean, it's not historically great like he was last year, but that ain't bad. We throw around the word regression way too loosely when we talk about these young quarterbacks, man. I mean, he's 23 years old. I don't know how many times we could say that. And he's got a long way to go. He's going to continue to get better. He doesn't have it all figured out yet. Let him grow. Everything's not going to always be smooth sailing.
The opinions of Michael and Michael. This was Holley and Smith, Brother from Another. Streams weekdays at 3 Eastern on Peacock. I love the conversation they were having about young quarterbacks, because we kind of look over at the screen and we watch the games going on. We sit in our screening room on Sunday, and it's young quarterbacks who are using the width of the field, using their speed. Why has it changed? Why has this position really gone through a significant evolution here in the last few years?
Well, I have to credit the NFL coaches for saying, you know what, I'm going to look at these college young men and bring them in and do what they do best. So you've got these guys who are 6 feet tall or 5'11", running around, making plays, being mobile, and it's exciting. It's exciting for us, and you know who else it's exciting for? The young kids.
Yeah.
I got a 14-year-old son, Justin, who's about 120 pounds, and I'm saying, be a slot receiver. You can catch the ball. He says, no, I want to be Baker Mayfield. I can be Baker. He's got his number 6 jersey. That's what it's done for these young people.
Agreed. I mean, it's been the most popular sport in our country by far for so long. All the best athletes want to play quarterback. But the thing I'll come to a little bit is what you're saying too, Coach. I mean, hey, these young kids right now, reps, flag football, 7-on-7, 7-on-7 camps. My little boy's 10 years old.
Right.
Every Sunday I go watch him play flag football in the morning. He gets 40 throws a weekend. He's 10. I didn't get 40 throws when I was in college. So they're more ready as far as ever when it comes time to come play in the NFL.
And when they brought this athleticism in, Mike, and it used to be, well, you've got to learn the defenses and you've got to read. Now, defensive coordinators are scared.
They're simple.
I can't play all these coverages. I've I've got to spy the quarterback. I've got to play man-to-man.
Yeah.
And they take advantage of it because they know how to run.
Yeah.
Remember, Randall Cunningham would take all these hits in one game against the Giants. Russell Wilson has shown these guys how you can run and stay healthy. Get out of bounds, get down. They're using the rules to keep themselves on the field.
They are. And, even Lamar, as great as he is at running, it's not always about running. He's always looking to throw. And then he pressures you with that. And then when that's not there, that's when he tucks it away. And, of course, he can go.
The only bummer, if this was around earlier, this guy would have been an NFL quarterback.
You're right.
Speaking of quarterbacks who can do that, Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield. Let's watch them in action, guys. Houston and Cleveland today. Chris, 37-minute. It was Cleveland in November.
Whoa.
Okay. Yikes. Hey, got to wake up, man. We're going inside for a little
quarterback weather, Mike.
But when you come back out, Nick Chubb's back for the first time since being on injured reserve in week 4. And
he is special. I mean, the best thing the Browns do is run the ball with that offensive line, and Chubb is awesome between the tackles, and, of course, that speed to bounce it outside, too.
That score box is accurate. It was 3-0 in the fourth quarter. Chubb with 120. This team ran for 231 today. Up 10-0. Deshaun Watson finally gets going. Connects with Randall Cobb.
Yeah, they were handicapped by the weather more than Cleveland because they have to rely on Watson's arm and his receivers to throw the football. They never could really get it going consistently today.
And that wind was big. Farrell Brown's going to catch a touchdown. Back in it. 10-7 is the score. Fourth quarter. Brown's trying to close out. And here goes Chubb.
Oh, the toss crunch action here. And this is where, again, look at the size of this man. The start-stop ability.
And he's going to go.
And then he's going to go.
But he's going to go out of bounds.
Don't go.
Implications for fantasy owners and others watching with financial interest.
Big implications.
But he's still at 126 yards, and Cleveland got the win. To Detroit, Alex Smith, first start in 2 years. His team was down big. Lions jumped out, as they do. Tradition unlike any other on Masters Sunday. 24-3, a double-digit lead, but here they come, Logan Thomas.
Hughes played 4th and 13, kept things alive.
J.D. McKissick pounds it in. It's 24-10. Washington scores again. It's 24-17. And now Antonio Gibson's going to get the game tied.
Here we go, and are the Lions going to blow another big lead?
Washington, 21 points in under 12 minutes. Alex Smith, great job leading them. Detroit kicks a field goal. Smith gets it back, trying to write a really great chapter to his story to Cam Sims.
Great play. Get the ball upfield, out of bounds, in position for the tying field goal.
All right, Dustin Hopkins from 41. And we're tied. Look, only, 17, 16 seconds left. Overtime, right? One thing Matthew Stafford's done as well as anybody in the league. Give me a little time, I'll get you in field goal range. He got some help here by Chase Young.
Yeah, he has a chance to win the game here. This is just overthrown.
But Chase Young with the roughing the passer. He called it a rookie mistake. So they still got timeouts in 6 seconds and maybe get a little bit of yards with Marvin Jones.
And Washington blitzes. Smart play by Detroit. Throw the ball, get down, call your timeout, set Matt Prater up for the game winner.
The guy with the NFL record for the longest field goal, that at elevation, 64 yards from 59 for the game.
Way to go, Prater.
Top 4 longest field goals as time expired to win a game, and the Lions hanging out at 4 and 5, still in the periphery of the NFC East. Chris, Philly at the Giants. Daniel Jones, I thought he played really well today.
He played really well. Well, we know he became a meme last time he ran the ball against the Philadelphia Eagles. Not today. He got the last laugh. Great run by him there.
The hero there. Put him up on your shoulders. 7-0 Giants. Giants have an 11-point lead. It's New York against Philly, and it's Boston. It's Boston Scott again.
Well, the run game for Philadelphia was real good today, and Boston Scott and Miles Sanders really helped out this Eagles offense. Hopefully they can keep this going into the future.
Yeah, a little review. All good. So is the 2-point conversion. Tightened up 14-11. Giants back down the field. Wayne Gallman, 4 straight weeks with a touchdown. G-Men up 10. Let's go a little bit deeper. The lead is 7. Here's Carson Wentz looking for Jalen Reagor. Knocked down by James Bradbury, and that closes it.
That closes out. I don't really understand the call all week, by week. We're just going to throw a jump ball on 4th and 10 against the best corner on that football team in Bradbury. A little peculiar there, Mike, but I'll take it with my G-Men.
The lovable NFC East. 3 wins, the most anybody has. It guarantees that we won't have a team over 500 in the NFC East until December. Mistake for Philly today.
It was. Philadelphia defense. You got a chance to really stretch your lead in this NFC East, put the Giants away. Defense didn't really come through.
No, did not come through. I don't really know what to think of Philadelphia. I keep waiting for them to take hold of this division, but between Wentz being inconsistent, the run game hit and miss, and like you said today, the defense has been consistent all year, but that lets them down. I don't know. I still think they're the leader in the clubhouse in the NFC East, but I don't know. It's not a very pretty clubhouse.
Giants put themselves on the front door of the clubhouse here as we go through November. They'll play significant games. Detroit's in the playoff mix. I want to talk about Cleveland. Highlights we just saw in that mix. Here they are at 6-3, and all of a sudden they get Nick Chubb back. Look what happens to their running game when he's in action. And Mike Florio, it was a difference-making addition to the Cleveland lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke to him after the game. He's feeling good. He was out for 6 weeks, guys. And on that 59-yard run at the end of the game, he told me in the huddle before the play, Baker Mayfield told him, if you get the first down, don't score. Let's just end the game and go home. And he told me how hard it was as the end zone was approaching to not score the points. I said, how are you going to react when you look at social media tonight and see all the people complaining about you not scoring? He said he's not going to be fazed by those fantasy football players and others who would have liked to see that touchdown by the Browns at the end of the game, guys.
Others.
Yeah.
Welcome to those of you who watched the Raiders win by 25. They're on a roll. We'll see them next Sunday night. Last Sunday night, we saw Tom Brady. Brady and the Bucs bounced back from last Sunday night in a big way. We'll show you how. And Aaron Rodgers and the Packers had all they could handle with the one-win Jaguars. All the highlights and the late games coming up as Football Night in America continues.
This season, our team is getting ready for game day a little differently. But with our expert insights,
anytime you're in doubt, go with C.
Defense analysis.
This is a stubborn fence, man. You gotta have instincts. You gotta have skill. You got skill?
And bold game day picks. We're putting the home.
Hey, Dad.
You ready for that game?
In home team.
Great game. You got it.
Come on, baby. That's what you've been waiting for. Big game right here. Who you got?
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
I'm going with the 49ers, too. I can't trust that Philadelphia offense. I don't.
49ers Twitter may dangerously lurk here. I'm going to go Rams, too.
You are? Okay.
One team can either give me grief or give all of you grief, right?
Yes.
Barbara Sapp's got the Bucs. I got to go with them.
We're in trouble. We're going to get trolled by New Orleans if things don't happen the right way.
Potentially. I know. All right, so we may not be the perfect game pickers, but we have a sense of humor. We can laugh at ourselves, right, guys?
Sure, I guess.
Ouch.
But where's Rodney's not here to laugh at himself, right? So we'll get you, Rodney. But we promise you, later on, Liam, well, one of us will give you the right pick in the game, right?
I don't know
trying
about
to set the tone.
Thanks.
Let's hope so.
You guys do that. All right, we have the Raiders next Sunday night against Kansas City. The Raiders today taking on Denver. And looking good here, Chris. Josh Jacobs from 11 yards out.
It was the run game all day, Mike. It was this Raiders run game. It was dominant. Josh Jacobs was awesome today.
Denver down 4 here, closing seconds of that. Drew Lock runs it in, but Noah Fant caught.
Why? You didn't have to hold him. He's going to score anyways. And then, Mike, this is the biggest issue with Drew Lock's game right now. You're there in field goal position before the half. Don't be so aggressive. He really needs to dial it back in that category.
Intercepted by Jeffy. A couple of interceptions for Lock in the half. Later in the third, Raiders really poured it on. Offensive line controlled the game. Jacobs had 112 and 2 scores.
Yeah, when their run game gets going like this, they're hard to stop. They control the clock. They rest their defense. Drew Lock, of course, makes life a lot easier on the team when he throws interceptions like this.
Yeah, the Raiders had only 5 takeaways coming into this game. They had 5 today. Dominant performance. Raiders, who have already beaten the Chiefs, host them in Vegas next week on Sunday Night Football. Last week we saw Tampa Bay lose in shocking fashion to New Orleans. You think Tom Brady's going to turn around the 38-3 loss? Game tied at 7 against Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater on a roll early to DJ Moore.
Yeah, he was. He was seeing the blitzes, getting rid of the ball quick, making plays early on.
Moore was part of a very big day. Here on the screen, it's 24 yards. It's Carolina on top.
Great call against the blitz. Get rid of it quick. Use that blocking.
Good season for DJ. 4 touchdowns, matches his career high. Near the end of the half, Carolina's up 7, but it's Gronk from Brady.
Jump ball over a smaller defender. We've seen this before.
44 yards. Patriots fans remember this stuff. Gronk will add a touchdown a bit later on. 2 plays after that, Gronk catch. What a play by Mike Evans on the back line.
Yes, Chris Sims talks about this all the time. Throw the ball high in the back of the end zone. Use those strong hands to come down with it.
Evans' 8th touchdown, as many as he had last year. So Brady in the offense, he picked up the confidence, Tony, that they got. And then Ronald Jones, this is now in the top 4 all-time NFL history. Long runs, 98-yard touchdown run.
And this was the key. They got back to their roots today, running the football. Ronald Jones had a big day and a great run there.
Career high 192. Bridgewater under pressure in the second half. Intercepted here by Jason Pierre-Paul dropping.
One of those blitzes where they're bringing people off the right side, dropping defensive end, Jason Pierre-Paul off the left.
And Antonio Brown, a lot of conversation last week, 7 catches, 69 yards.
They got him in the mix late. Timing still wasn't there early.
Big win for Tampa, 46-23. Let's simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface. Let's dive into the Buccaneers numbers of how they tried to simplify the game. We're going to talk about what they have. Tight ends, using 2 tight ends. After 11 and 5 in the prior 2 games, 37 2 tight end plays against Carolina, and look at the percentage that Brady was under center over half the time. So, Chris and Tony, how does that manifest itself in what they were doing?
Well, Chris, what it did, it told me they got back to their roots. They wanted to run the football. Only 5 runs last week against New Orleans.
Yeah, got obsessed with, hey, it's Antonio Brown. How can you match up with all the weapons we have? We're going to get in the shotgun. But today, it went more tight ends, 2 tight ends. We're going to run the ball and beat you up at the line of scrimmage.
And this sets up everything else. When they can do this and power it, it really affects the defense.
It does, and it opens up play-action pass, and it also gives them the ability to max protect for Brady to throw the ball deep down the field. Now here's going to be a play-action pass. Coach, look at all the defensive players by the line of scrimmage.
Have to load up that right side with the 2 tight ends there, and now you can take your shots to your wide receiver.
Yeah, I think the one thing Coach and I were impressed by or annoyed by last week was the Buccaneers getting into that passing offense too much. They're the best underneath the center, kind of imposing their physical will on people.
And Mike Flory, I think you talked to Ronald Jones and talked about that running game and getting back to it. What did he have to say?
Well, and think about it, guys. Last week, they had 5 rushing attempts on Sunday Night Football, the lowest ever in any game in league history. Ronald Jones had that 98-yard touchdown run. He told me he actually looked at the video board. He could see Jeremy Chinn of the Panthers coming behind him, and when Chinn dove, that's when he said he gave a little hurdle, he gave a little step, and he finished out that run. So guys use that video board all the time. Ronald Jones used it today.
A very effective 98-yard touchdown run. Teddy Bridgewater hurt in this game, Mike. What are you hearing?
He took a low hit to the right knee. That's not the knee that had the serious injury back in 2016 that derailed his career. Getting an MRI actually tonight, not tomorrow. Early indications are good, but anytime you get an MRI on your knee, you have to wait and see what the outcome of that examination is, Mike.
Yeah, because this team has played well despite their record. They've been in a lot of games, got away from them in the second half today. Welcome to those of you who've watched the other late games finish, including wins for Pittsburgh and New Orleans. Full highlights ahead as we set the table for Cam Newton and the Patriots, taking on the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football.
Simplify the game. Powered by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
As good as it gets. Welcome to the end zone for the touchdown. Over the shoulder catch.
We have a ball game, guys. Everybody get ready when you hear that sound.
Touchdown. It's go time. Throw chaos all day. We get it in when it's go time. Everybody come around. This is the day it's going down. No more waiting. We can't relax. That's the way to go.
Unreal.
This is tremendous. Everybody get ready when you hear that sound. Touchdown. It's go time.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Looking forward to Sunday Night Football in Foxborough. John Harbaugh, year 13 in Baltimore, on track for a 9th playoff appearance since he took over. Liam caught up with the Ravens head coach a short time ago.
John, last week, because of COVID-19, several of your players missed practice. Marlon Humphrey missed the game, but you go out and you get a big win against Indy. What'd you learn about your team?
Well, probably what we already knew. I'm proud of the guys. You know, they overcome adversity. They came to work every day. Nobody blanked. And played a really good second half of football, you know, stuck together and played winning football. So I was proud of the guys.
This week, Lamar Jackson said that opposing defenses have been calling out some of the Ravens' plays. Maybe that's just life in the NFL. Maybe it's not. But with your system, how do you keep it efficient and unpredictable?
Well, I mean, I think it is pretty normal, especially in stadiums now. We walked in here tonight, and it's very familiar, especially at night, but we feel like it's going to be a friendlier crowd. So it's not quite exactly the same. So I think a lot of things are different. Everybody chases plays. We try to make calls. We try to figure out what our opponent's doing. So I'm sure people are doing that to us as well.
Tonight you go against Cam Newton. He's been inconsistent, but he has shown flashes of vintage Cam Newton. At this stage in his career, what worries you about his game?
You know, just Cam being Cam. I mean, he can throw the ball. He throws the deep in routes better than anybody in football probably right now. He can get away from trouble. He's running the quarterback-driven stuff. And really, it's their offense built around him. They're a downhill power running game. They've got tremendous backs, big physical offensive line. I think they're very efficient in what they do offensively.
John, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Liam.
Chance the Ravens, they win. Their record could be improving closer to the top of the AFC. This just happened 4 minutes ago. Kyler Murray throwing it up, trying to win the game. DeAndre Hopkins catches it in the end zone. Wow. Just seconds after Stephon Diggs had an amazing catch. Full highlight later. Welcome to those of you watching Arizona stun Buffalo by 2. All right, let's move to the other games, guys. It's Jacksonville taking on Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers, 81-yard drive, his first rushing touchdown.
Yes, going to his right, making it look easy.
All right, so Green Bay's up. Jacksonville hung on in this game right throughout. 14-10, now 17-10 as we pick it up. And it's Devontae Adams fumbles. C.J. Henderson knocked it out. Miles Jack picked it up.
And this Jacksonville defense just hustled and hung in there all day long, gave their offense a chance to win.
Yeah, the Packers have been so good taking care of the ball. 3 turnovers all season coming in. 2 today. They capitalized. The rookie 6th-round pick, Jake Luton, his second career start, to Keelan Cole.
In a tight window, too. I don't know how he got
that
all in
tight.
there.
Great throw. So we're all even at 17. Cole also had a punt return for touchdown. Jacksonville took the lead with a field goal, but they come back down the field, do the Packers. It's Aaron. And Adams goes up to get it for the touchdown.
I love this, Mike. This is the okey-doke play. Make it look like a run. I'm not doing anything. I don't want to block, and then I'll break out and catch the touchdown.
Adams was banged up with the ankle injury, comes back, fights through. So can Luton have a comeback in Lambeau? Down 4, but on back-to-back plays, the Green Bay defense comes up big.
Yep, the pass rush got there, closed out the game with the good pressure.
Aaron, 325 yards on that one. So the Packers, that's one of those games where you got to get it, and they did, but they didn't look great doing it.
No, they didn't. And we heard Aaron Rodgers in the post-game interview. We haven't played a great game yet, especially on defense. This is not the lockdown defense we're used to seeing.
No, definitely not. I mean, I worry about the interior part of their defense, especially. I mean, that's the one thing. They can rush the passer, but we've seen when teams can run the football and have a good offensive line and a running attack, man, do they struggle slowing that down. And we saw that today. I mean, Jacksonville ran the ball on them just about every series.
Green Bay up 2 in the division. Chicago plays tomorrow night, and Green Bay and Chicago play in 2 weeks on Sunday Night Football. Tonight, it's Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in Foxborough taking on the Patriots as Baltimore tries to get to 7-2.
It comes down to this.
Hungry for the win. Presented by Uber Eats.
This the time. Play action. Jackson keeps it. Lunges to the goal line. The Ravens are going to win a game they trailed at halftime. Driven to the uprights, right down the middle. It's good, and the Patriots win it.
Good job, Nick.
Game winner as time expires.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. It's date night done right. And by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. This is Football Night in America.
It's go time.
Served by Applebee's.
Good to see the good folks of America rooting for the Patriots. Saw the Ravens fans earlier. Pats and Ravens on Sunday Night Football coming up here in a little bit. Let's get to the highlights. Some of the young, talented quarterbacks leading their teams. Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, back-to-back picks in the 2020 draft. Chris early on. Ty Love couldn't catch the punt snap clean. Andrew Van Ginkel. The Dolphins recover. They've done so much on defense and special teams. It sets up Savon Ahmed, who ran well today.
He ran really well. Yeah, nice, easy touchdown for Tua again at home just to get them jump-started. And here go the Dolphins.
Yeah, Ahmed, the rookie out of the University of Washington, gave him a running game. Jakeem Grant, the passing game. Ted catches that. 14-0. Miami out of the game. So let's go to the second quarter. Tua. Dolphins trying to go up 3 scores. Oh, he fumbles here, and the Chargers get on it.
They're dominating the football game at this point. Now, again, this is not really Tua's fault either. This was the center. He totally missed the snap here, trying to make a really far block back, But, yes, this gave the Chargers life.
And Herbert sneaks it in, so the Chargers settling in here. 14-7, they're down 10. We pick it up in the third quarter. And Herbert on the scramble on 1st and goal. He uses that mobility, and then Hunter Henry comes uncovered.
Well, we talk about quarterbacks that need to run this day and age, and he's the perfect example, a guy that threatens the line of scrimmage and has a big right arm if you try to commit to stop him.
It was a 3-point game, field goal added by Miami. Big mistake here, 5th pick. And he's thrown. Xavier Howard comes up with the INT.
Yeah, Xavier Howard's one of the best corners in football. Wide receiver fell down. Unfortunate for Justin Herbert.
Former Notre Dame tight end, Durham Smythe.
Tight end you, Mike. I mean, how many times have we seen big-time tight ends out of that school? But great job by the Dolphins. They're on fire right now.
Tua 3-0 as a starter. The numbers for these first-round picks from this past year, a little bit better in the completion, but Herbert was down, so his numbers a little bit higher. But both obviously showing why they were picked so high, why their franchises feel good about the future. The Chargers keep losing close games. Game of the day turned out to be Buffalo and Arizona, two more of the young and talented quarterbacks who have the league singing a great tune. Tony, watch this as Isaiah McKenzie is going to take it and throw it back to Josh Allen.
Quarterback's eligible when he's not under center, and Josh Allen runs like a wide receiver after the catch.
He caught one in the playoffs last year, and here just kind of shakes free, and he's such a good runner. We've seen him in the open field, nice downfield blocking, so the Bills get up early in Arizona. I want to take you all the way to the third quarter. Bills have a 7-point lead, and it's Allen and Cole Beasley connecting for 22 yards.
And they have really found a chemistry. This one, he shook Patrick Peterson at the line of scrimmage, beat him on the crossing route.
2 touchdowns, 2 picks for Allen. The ensuing Cardinals drive. Murray, offense was sluggish. Now they get it going with his legs.
That's the zone read. He just reads the defensive end, keeps the ball, no one on the quarterback.
Wow, 5 straight games of quarterback rush for touchdowns. Tobin wrote one of the best from back in the day. Later in the third down for it's Allen looking for Stephon Diggs. Patrick Peterson comes up with a big pick. This is his third of the season, and Arizona down 4 through this third quarter built momentum. So they get the ball back after the Allen mistake. Murray's going to make him pay again with his legs, Tony.
Same zone read. Defensive end takes the dive back. Murray keeps it, and he doesn't look to slide, doesn't look to run out of bounds.
He's so smooth. 26-23 at that point. Taking to the fourth quarter. Still the score. Time winding down. Bill's trying to keep this game alive. What a catch by Beasley. It's nuts.
That is incredible. Not only catch the ball, but get the second foot down.
Later in the drive, it's Allen and Stephon Diggs. This looks like a game-winning touchdown.
34 seconds left. Lay out, catch it, elbow down. Great job.
Oh, there's time. Not done yet. Don't celebrate Western New York. Hold the phone. You got Larry Fitz, you got D.I. Hopkins, you got guys who can go get it, and then a big spot. So they moved it down in range, and here is Murray on the roll. You know he's going to find time with his leg. That's a great move right there. Underrated, uncorked it. Who's better in the air than DeAndre Hopkins for the touchdown? And the game winner for Arizona. Not Hail Mary, Hail Murray. Kyler threw it. DeAndre caught it. And the Arizona Cardinals go to 6-3, tied for the AFC West lead. Arizona 32. Absolutely. Buffalo 30 in a 5-star instant classic in the desert. 2 young quarterbacks and their teams with a lot of promise gave us a game. Let's look at the quarterback numbers after Hopkins helped clinch that big, memorable win, throwing it a lot, and obviously the rushing yards for Kyler, both involved in touchdowns for Murray, 3, including the one that won the game. Time now for Doing Good in the Neighborhood, presented by Applebee's. A coach and a quarterback take us through how that Hail Mary worked for Arizona.
Yeah, we're going to look at this, Mike and Chris. Unbelievable here. 11 seconds, no timeouts. So if you're on defense, you just have to make a tackle in the field of play. You got to defend the sidelines and the end zone. And what I don't like here is nobody is jamming these receivers. They're getting free access off the ball to get down to the end zone.
I agreed, Coach. I don't understand that approach either. And then as you see the play develop, what I also don't understand is the aggression towards underneath receivers. There's no timeouts with Arizona. Let them throw the ball 15 yards down the field.
And this is where Kyler Murray is special. This looks like it's probably going to be a sack to end the game, but they can't finish it off. He escapes and then winds up to throw this ball 50 yards in the air. But this is what you're talking about. You really don't have to defend this area. Get back in the end zone now at this point.
Right. Field goal can't beat you. Get back. What you're seeing, guys are up short now trying to get back part of the jump part of the ball, and your man DeAndre Hopkins came through again.
It's special. I want him on my team.
We know you do. We know.
Mike, right there with you, Coach. So now, here are the Buffalo Bills. They go into their bye week at 7-3. And Mike Florio, if Miami wins next week at Denver, they'll be tied at 7-3 atop the AFC East. Tua Tagovailoa 3-0 as a starting quarterback.
And he has just been awesome. I spoke to him after the win today, and he said that he expected the NFL to be harder than it is. Not that it isn't harder, but he expected a lot more looks than what he's getting, and he's noticing the game already slowing down. I also asked him if he's been in touch with his Alabama head coach, Nick Saban. He said, actually, he's busy. I'm busy. I hadn't thought to reach out to him. He said he's going to. I said, what are you going to say to Coach Saban? He said, I'm going to ask him, what can we do better offensively?
By the way, week 17, Miami at Buffalo. Just throwing that out there for you. Time for for Sunday night $700,000 jackpot each contest. Chris, who's going to score the first touchdown of the game?
I'm going with Gus Edwards, Mike. They're going to drive it down. He's going to jam it in there from about the 4-yard line.
Anybody can figure out the first touchdown of the game, right? We're so good at that.
Yeah,
Make your picks on the NBC Sports Predictor app. More highlights in the late games coming up after this.
Doing good in the neighborhood. Presented by Applebee's. Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday night kickoff.
By you being a trendsetter, you are carving the path for a lot of people.
Lamar, how much did you watch Cam Newton? And was he a player that you kind of always respected?
No, he the OG. He's Superman.
You saw Superman take off his cape. Oh, you got
I watched Cam since Auburn. A lot of us looked up to him. He won the Heisman, college championship.
setting up space. There goes Cam.
Won MVP doing his thing. Everyone know about Cam Superman. Wanted to get to where he's at, and now I'm here.
Cam, you're one of the most accomplished rushing quarterbacks. What do you admire the most about how Lamar has changed the game in that area?
Man, my boy Lamar got a gear not many human beings got. He's dominant, dynamic, explosive. For him to be as successful and to make the impact in this game,
Lamar Jackson.
I know how to bring a quarterback.
not many people have done it.
An unbelievable athletic display.
Lamar, I don't even think I'm in that stratosphere.
Just added to the highlight film. Game recognized game. Now I got to play against him, so just can't wait to do that.
We can't wait either. It's the Ravens and the Pats, but it's a new chapter in this AFC rivalry, and it features the only quarterbacks to win both the Heisman and NFL MVP. As we welcome you back to Foxborough, where over the past 2 decades, a healthy Tom Brady meant the Lombardi Trophy was a distinct possibility. But now Brady's a buck, the Patriots, they're 3-5, and it's on Cam Newton to keep the NFL's longest playoff streak alive. Let's go on the field, presented by Hyundai. After a strong September, October hit Newton hard. A positive COVID test, issues with turnovers, and 4 straight losses. Mike, the good news is Cam bounced back last week against the Jets. The bad news, the Ravens are definitely not the Jets.
No, they're not. At 6-2, and this guy at age 22 became the second youngest MVP in league history last year. Lamar's their guy. We'll see if he can continue. Those numbers very similar to last year. Sunday Night Football coming up here on NBC. More highlights, guys. I mentioned the Steelers going for 9-0, taking on Cincinnati in the AFC North. Big Ben did practice off the COVID-19 list, back and ready to go. He was just in the close contact range, did not have the virus, came back sharp. Deontay Johnson, 46 yards.
Practice? Yeah. Practice is overrated. Come on. He doesn't need to practice.
That was the other side of the state with Iverson many moons ago. A couple plays later, Deontay for 2 yards and a touchdown. Pittsburgh up 12-0.
Yeah, they draw you in with this short passing game, and then they love to do double moves off of it, and that's when Big Ben hits those big plays down the field. But Deontay Johnson doing really well for them.
And the defense set a tone early against Cincinnati. So Joe Burrow had to find something. They had a nice drive, 90 yards here. T. Higgins the touchdown on 4th down.
Yeah, they're developing a special connection, but life was certainly not easy for Joe Burrow in this passing offense in the Bengals today.
Yes, T was offered some hoop scholarships. The next 24 points to Pittsburgh. Big Ben to Juju for 8 yards.
Man, look at the old man move a little bit in the pocket with people around him. Great job finding Juju Smith-Schuster.
And he finds his peeps, his parents, Lawrence and Sammy.
That's a pretty good throw.
It was.
Wait, that's in the game plan too. Now less than a minute in the half, and T.J. Watt comes up with his second sack of the day.
He was harassed all day, Joe Burrow. This defense got back to its basics. They really took away the short passing game and pressured Burrow. We didn't see that last week out of Pittsburgh.
Dominant control in the second half. Chase Claypool, 1 of 2 touchdowns.
He is a matchup nightmare. It's hard to play him one-on-one, and they got a lot of good weapons at the receiver position, Mike.
9-0, first time in franchise history. San Francisco goes to New Orleans, won a game last year. What a different story this year. San Francisco's up early. They scored the first 10. Trent Taylor doesn't field the punt, hits a 49er player. Marquez Callaway comes up with it for New Orleans.
Special teams haunted the 49ers. You've got to catch that ball in traffic. Can't let it bounce.
So New Orleans was struggling offensively, but this good field position got going. But Contavious Street comes up with this big sack on Breeze, flag for roughing the passer. Breeze shaken up there. More on that in a moment. The Saints were back in the game. Breeze stayed in, and the rest of the second quarter, they took off because of that guy. The leader in NFL scrimmage yards, Alvin Kamara.
He does so much for this team, and this one was an easy one just on the toss.
Ties it at 10, so that muffed punt cost San Francisco 7. Get it back later in the quarter. A little swing to Kamara.
Yeah, everybody will be looking to put this play in. Drop the ball, get the defense to relax, and then throw it out to Kamara.
All right, second half, Breeze doesn't go. He's going to have an MRI and X-ray on the rib injury. Sean Payton said all his years with Breeze 15, he's never said I can't go, so he must be bothered. That means Jameis Winston comes in to play quarterback, and he gets it to Kamara.
Yeah, he knows who to go to, and that was a great throw there, right on the money.
Down to the 5-yard line. Remember, they had Teddy Bridgewater in this spot if something happened to Breeze and it did last year. Now it's Jameis. So New Orleans is up 10, got to kick it away. Niners need something good to happen, and they muffed the punt. Richie James that time.
Once again, you just can't make those kind of mistakes against a great football team.
Oh, and who do you give it to?
At the goal line, 41 guy, but he's going to get it in there.
11 total touchdowns this season. Kamara and the Saints roll on and win. Seattle taking on the Rams. Second quarter, Rams driving. Malcolm Brown runs it in from 7.
Yeah, good run. Got some good blocking here. You see Jamal Adams in the hole one-on-one with a chance, but doesn't make the tackle. But the Rams were rolling here early on.
Second game back from the groin injury. Adams such a key figure. He's a little down. This picks him up.
He makes up for it, and this is where he is special. They like to blitz him because when he gets around the football, he knows how to knock it loose. And this was a big play to get them going and get this game real close.
Give it to Russell Wilson in good field position. Down 7-2 plays later. Wilson's going to step up. Will Dissly in the end zone, but Darius Williams with a big pick.
You just never see Russell Wilson do this type of thing. And he could have ran. This is the thing I think that shocked all of us watching this. Look at all this green grass. He's one-on-one. He might score a touchdown. But throws basically a jump ball, and Williams does a great job getting the interception.
He turned it 3 times, turned it over 3 times. So the Rams had this 10-point lead. They maintain it. Bad snap to Wilson here, and Leonard Floyd comes up with it for L.A.
We saw bad snaps all over football today. I don't know what the deal was with that, but yeah, Russell Wilson couldn't quite control it. It's chaos, as you see, and Floyd does a good job of getting on it.
And an interception here. 10 turnovers the last 4 games after just 3 turnovers the first 5 games for Wilson and the Seahawks offense.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable. There's a lot of pressure on that offense and Russell Wilson.
Time now for the Sunday Night Game Flow presented by Progressive. Let's talk about that pressure.
The Rams' focus, knowing the backs were out for Seattle, was bring pressure, get the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands. And Chris, they have the defensive line to do it because they're athletic.
They did. And Coach, you see here, look, I mean, nobody went flying by him. They corralled him all day long. And I think that's something you and Rodney have talked about many times with these mobile quarterbacks.
And you need fast linemen, and they have it.
And that's the Sunday Night Game Flow presented by Progressive, and the flow in the NFC West is Seattle, Arizona, and the Rams are all now 6-3. I think the Rams got back in the mix significantly with today's performance.
Agreed. I mean, the Rams at least have a little of everything. They play good defense. They can run the ball, and we, of course, know they're going to throw the ball a little with McVay and the bootlegs. The other teams, I don't know, have other flaws to me. It's Arizona seems all Kyler Murray, and then, of course, Seattle is all Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing that with Wilson pressing a little bit, trying to make up for some of those flaws that they have.
Yeah. Arizona at Seattle Thursday night. It's going to be a fun division to run out the rest of the way. Getting set for Cam Newton against Lamar Jackson. The Patriots, the Ravens, a little weather coming into Foxborough. How will it play out with these teams? Sunday Night Football's ahead. New England is 3-5, so it is not a stretch to say save the season here. Ravens trying to keep pace with the Steelers, who they will play on Thanksgiving night on NBC. Sunday Night Football in 5.5. But first, the best of Week 10 brought to you by Verizon. The 5G America has been waiting for. Chris, the Giants back in the NFC East race.
Oh, yeah, baby. Big Blue. Daniel Jones had a big day with his legs and his right arm.
Giants are 3-7. Philly still leads the division at 3-5. And 1. Tampa Bay, Carolina, Tony Ronald Jones for 98 yards here.
Yes, after a terrible offensive day last week, they exploded for over 500 yards. As you say, here were 98 of them on one run.
Ties the third longest run in the history of the league, and they pull away from the Panthers 46-23. Rams at Tampa next Monday night. Chris, for San Francisco, a great win in New Orleans last year. Couldn't stop Alvin Kamara this year.
No, couldn't do it. And Drew Brees, just look how smart he is. Ball falls, he doesn't panic. Oh, big deal. off throwing the touchdown pass.
Didn't leave the game with a rib injury. Jacksonville gave Green Bay all they wanted, Tony.
Yeah, and Green Bay didn't play great, but they did have Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams to rescue them.
7-2 for the second straight season. Green Bay goes to Indy. Interesting game next week. Houston at Cleveland. Nick Chubb back. Browns back to a punishing ground game.
They really worked today. 3rd and 3 here, just trying to close it out. And there goes Nick Chubb. It just shows you he can do it all. Run between the tackles, run the speed. Don't score! Good thing.
Fantasy owners and others with financial interest were disappointed at that. The Browns are 6-3, very much in it. The Raiders, we see them next Sunday night. Tony, starting to look good.
Yes, and speaking of punishing running game, the Raiders had it today, just pounded Denver.
They're 6-3 and host Kansas City in Vegas next Sunday night. Pittsburgh remains the lone unbeaten Big Ben big game.
Big Ben in the pocket. He played awesome today. 4 touchdown passes. Finds Juju Smith-Schuster here.
Tony, don't look now. Look who's a half game back and has won 5 in a row in the AFC. The Miami Dolphins.
Yes, and Brian Flores, how's that audition going?
Just experiment.
Looks like it's going pretty well.
Rave reviews. Miami is 6-3. Finish of the day, maybe finish of the season at this point. Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs.
It's my boy Blue throwing a great touchdown here, but it didn't matter because he gets one-upped.
Tony, Hail Murray. Hyler gets it done with DeAndre Hopkins.
You're never out of it with him, and these hands, the strongest hands in football in terms of catching the ball.
You're right, Coach.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Just sick. 3-way tie atop the NFC West. And those are the best of, including the Rams getting their victory at home over Seattle.
Yeah, they did. They played well today on defense, corralled Russell Wilson and company.
As I was saying, that's the best of it. Time now for Home Team Picks, brought to you by Lowe's. I'm so excited to see if anybody else is going to join. America's on the Ravens. Everybody's on the Ravens. I can't let it happen to us. I'm going to go for the Patriots.
Okay.
What do you see happening tonight?
I think you're going to see run defense. Which quarterback's going to have the best day? I think it's going to be Lamar.
I do too. They're just too much better than the Patriots right now.
Those were your Home Team Picks, brought to you by Lowe's. And we hope you enjoy Sunday Night Football. The 6-2 Ravens, as I said, trying to keep pace with Pittsburgh and stay 2 back in the AFC North. Can the Pats save the season? Al, Chris, and Michelle have it for you. Carrie Underwood starts it. We'll see you at halftime. Enjoy Sunday Night Football.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.